My name is Izzy and I'm mostly looking forward to meeting new friends and learning about all the different lessons.
My name is Louie and I'm excited for the new subjects at King's.
Hello, my name is Adil and I'm really looking forward to the sport at seniors.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth and I'm looking forward to playing the piano.
Hi, my name is Holly and I'm most looking forward to meeting new friends and having more opportunities.
My name is Harrison and I'm really excited for the new gym.
Hello, my name is Will and I'm really looking forward to sport in seniors.
I'm Ava and I can't wait to make loads of new friends at King's.
My name is Daniel and I'm really looking forward to the different subjects in seniors.
Hi, my name is Madison and I'm really looking forward to the opportunities at King's.
I'm Georgina and I'm looking forward to all the performances and meeting new friends.
Hi, I am James and I'm looking forward to making new friends at school.
Hi, my name is Grace and I'm really looking forward to making new friends and having a new beginning at King's.
My name is Arnav and I'm looking forward to maths.
Hi, I'm Eleanor and I'm looking forward to trying out all the new sports and meeting new friends.
My name is Benjamin and I'm excited for new opportunities at King's.
My name is Johan and I'm looking forward to sports.
Hi, my name's Max and I'm looking forward to doing lots of new subjects that you don't do at primary.
And I'm looking forward to physics.
I'm looking forward to drama and biology and meeting new friends.
I'm Henry. I can't wait for the sports opportunities that await.
Hi, my name is Connie and I'm looking forward to making new friends.
Okay, very warm welcome to you all this evening for the new Parents' Evening. Lovely to hear what all the children are looking forward to there. I think we spotted a couple of problem parents already. I think there's a parent already, actually, which is good fun. But great to hear what they're looking forward to, making new friends, new subjects, and, of course, sport, which seems to always rank very highly on the list as well. So a very warm welcome to you all this evening. Your children are off with their tutors at the moment. You'll be reacquainted with them shortly. But I'm just going to say a little bit about what your children can expect in terms of their experience at the senior school, some of the changes we are in the process of making here. I'm in my second year here as headmaster of the King's School, and then I'll be handing over to Mrs. Sharon Garray, who is the head of removes, who will talk in a little bit more detail about the experience for the removes next year. So that's the programme. Headmaster's welcome for a few minutes, followed by Sharon, and then you will be reacquainted with your darling sons and daughters and have a meeting with the tutor who you will meet and be able to answer any questions and have a short presentation with them. But first of all, let me say well done on choosing such a great school. We think you have excellent taste in education. And I look forward to telling you about my vision for the school and the experience that your children will have next year. And first and foremost, I'm delighted to say that you will be joining a tradition of absolute excellence at the King's School. Here we have George, Kate and Millie on the left. They're our heads of school. They've done a fantastic job this year. They're halfway through their A-levels, so we should be feeling sorry for them. They're all the prefects behind. They're a fantastic bunch of kids, and it's wonderful often to reflect on what amazing people leave this school. One of my most pleasant jobs during the year is writing their vales, which is their sort of farewell reports where we sum up everything they've done and achieved at the school and talk about how they've developed as people. And I do that for all of them, 120 of them. Took me a bit of time, but I always start by saying I'm just going to write one sentence about it each and say, you know, bravo, well done, and best of luck for the future. And I end up writing these long paragraphs about what amazing young people they've become. So it's great to see them there and their smiling faces there on the left. But they're excellent in lots of other ways. The sports centre, of course, that we're incredibly proud of. I'll say more about that in a moment. There's the wonderful Terrace Cafe, where I anticipate you spending some happy summer afternoons. I've spent some great times there. But the sports facilities in that sports centre are absolutely outstanding. We look forward to your children making best use of them. So excellence in terms of facilities, excellence in terms of the sorts of students that we create, excellence in terms of the sort of education that we provide, the breadth of education that we provide. I'll say more about that in a moment. And one of the most important things, probably the most important thing of any school, is excellence in the staff we have. I've had the pleasure of working at 7 different schools of different shapes and sizes, different varieties during my career. I started almost 30 years ago at a little school called Eton College in just outside Slough, down in the south. I can honestly say the quality and the consistency of the staff that we have, that's support staff and teaching staff at this school, all 220 of them, is absolutely outstanding. I'm sure you'd agree that is the most important thing, because those are the people who are going to inspire your children and support them over the coming years so they can make the very most of themselves. So, tradition of excellence in all respects. And this is our vision, a statement that really we say to the students every term. We remind them of what we are trying to achieve, and that is that we are totally committed to do the very best for each of our students. We are a student-centred school. All decisions that we make, whatever plans we make, are all for the benefit of our students. And we want to make sure that by providing opportunities, by challenge, by fantastic learning, then we will make the very most of each and every one of them. That is very, very much a clear focus. We want them to gain the confidence to achieve more than they thought possible. We don't want them to achieve their potential. We want them to exceed their potential. We want them to do things that they never thought they were capable of doing. And that is the case, as with those leavers, I said, they would certainly say that when they arrived and removed. 7 years later, they are leaving as incredibly accomplished people, having achieved more than they thought possible, and at a school they love. I think that's really important. I think it is absolutely essential that students, when they come to school, they enjoy school. When they get up in the morning, it is a prospect that they look forward to, that they enjoy coming to school, because we all know that happy learners and people that enjoy school are very successful learners and are bound to make the most of themselves. So that is our key vision encapsulated in what is a very long sentence. So values and objectives, as with all headmasters, when you arrive here, you look at the strategy, you shake that up, you look at the objectives and the aims and you shake that up, and you look at the values as well. And these are the values that I have come up with in collaboration with the staff of the school and also with the pupils. The pupils contributed to these values as well. So these are the core values that we want to live by, the way that we operate in the school. And it all really starts with that middle value, respect. Having respect for yourself as an individual, something that's very important to me, but also having respect within the community, respect for others, respect amongst students, respect between the students and staff, and of course respect amongst the critical tripartite of staff, students and parents. So mutual respect within the community, that's where it all starts. Because if we respect each other, then we will collaborate effectively. We will work together effectively. And if we work together effectively, we will be able to aspire to be the very best versions of ourselves. And that is particularly with the children. We start every term by repeating these values. We respect each other, which means we work together effectively, which means we can aspire to be the very best we can. So there are the three values that we live by here at King's. And in terms of strategic objectives, there are 8 of these actually, but these are the 3 key educational ones. And if I was to show you the 8 strategic objectives, the biggest one right in the middle would be this first line, that every pupil at King's is known, valued and cared for. That is the number one objective for me that trumps all other things. Students being confident, happy and well in themselves, having good well-being, physical and mental well-being, is more important than anything else. It's more important than exam results. It's more important than what sports teams they play for. Mental and physical well-being is what we all want. At a time when there are issues amongst a lot of children in today's world, we need to double our efforts to make sure that all children feel known, valued and cared for. And that is something that we are very keen to do. With the house system that was introduced, it was nice timing when I arrived. It had all been planned for, and when I arrived, it was all there in place. The house system at the senior school has been a huge success. It means that you carry on, all children carry on with their tutors throughout their time at school. They have the same head of house, and we have those lovely small tutor groups, which means that every individual can get to be known and encouraged to get involved and take advantage of all the opportunities that we have here and really cared for, particularly if things go wrong. Things do go wrong. I don't know if you remember the ages of between 11 and 18, but it's a time when you do a lot of growing up, a time when you discover a lot of things, and a time when things all don't necessarily go to plan. And we need to be there as parents, staff and a school to make sure we support your individual sons and daughters through what can be a bit of a bumpy journey at times. So that's the number one objective. The second objective, great learning future orientated. We are very proud to be a fantastically academic school. We have a very strong tradition of scholarship and academic success. Last year, I've always got to mention it because I'm so proud of it, we were the top co-educational school in the whole of the north of England for A-level results. top co-educational school, all of Northern England for A-level results. However, I would quickly follow that by the fact that I'm not that bothered about results that refer to whole year groups. What I am bothered about are the results that your sons and daughters will get, and making sure that the results they achieve are the best they can possibly do relative to their abilities. It's in education what we call value added. So we want your children to do the very best they can relative to their ability. We have lots of children that get straight A's and A stars at this school. We also have lots of children that don't get straight A's and A stars at this school. And as long as they have achieved the very best they can, then that's what we're aiming for. We also want to make sure that every child achieves their sustainable best. So it's not just a case of metaphorically wringing their necks when it comes to GCSE and A-level, to squeeze every last mark out of them. We want them to be working as well as they can from when they arrive at school, all the way through school, and prepare them for life in their future adult lives. That may well be for university. About 90-95% of all our students go to university, so we want them to carry on achieving their sustainable best at university. Some don't go to university, some go straight into work, an increasing number go into apprenticeships, but we all know that we should now be lifelong learners. We never stop learning, and therefore encouraging students to achieve their sustainable best while they're at school and to carry on doing that, whatever they do after school, into their adult lives is really important. And that's the future-orientated bit, that we want to make sure that the education we provide is relevant to their future lives. In a rapidly evolving world where we all know the quote that there are all these jobs that we don't know exist yet, the fact that children of today are probably going to have 6 or 7 different jobs, they're going to swap between different sectors, we need to prepare them with the attributes and skills to cope with that. You know, things like resilience, collaborative skills, teamwork, leadership, problem solving. These are all things that are going to become increasingly relevant, and we are designing a curriculum to make sure they are well prepared for that. And finally, opportunities for all. This really refers to the co-curricular programme. I have a daughter in Shells, Year 8, and a son in Forths, Year 10. And the one thing, probably the biggest thing I was most impressed by when we came to King's is the variety and range of things that they've been involved in. I won't list them because it'll take me all evening, but they are variously involved in all forms of sport, music, drama, D&E, CCF, lots of clubs and societies, and it's fantastic that they are able to get involved in those activities to provide a balance with their academic efforts as well. You know, I sometimes talk about working hard and playing hard to the students. Yes, we expect students to work hard here and make the most of themselves academically, but we really, really are keen that they get involved in the broader opportunities of the school. It was great to hear so many of the children there talking about, I want to do sport, I want to do drama, I want to do music. Fantastic to see so many parents over in the music department earlier finding out about the Let's Get Playing initiative as well. So really, really important that students get involved in those co-curricular opportunities. It provides balance with the academic, and they enjoy it. It's healthy for them, and hopefully it will set up passions and interests that they will have for the rest of their lives. Sorted? Yeah. Okay, so senior school developments, just a few things to highlight. We've got the new sports centre, which is absolutely amazing. The students have been using that this term so far, and we're really, really pleased with the new sports centre. It's provided a great facility. We've got the Pastoral Support Centre opening in September 2019. For those of you in the know, that will replace what was the CCF block, which junior school parents would know is that rather grotty-looking building on the right as you head towards the junior school building. CCF have moved out into the sports centre, and that is going to become the new centre for the medical centre, for the nurses at the school, and also learning support and also counselling services. So that is going to be our pastoral support centre. We're actually naming it the Rohan Ingley Centre after a boy in the sixth form that we lost to leukaemia sadly last year, and we're naming it in his memory because he was a fantastic young man who cared a lot about others, and we think that would be a very appropriate naming opportunity for him. So that'll be open from September 2019. The Learning to Learn programme really goes with great learning future orientated. So we've been quite radical and innovative in some of the changes we've made to our study skills programme, because we want to make sure that when students come to the senior school, we make sure that they know how to learn in their own individual way to make the most of themselves, to achieve their sustainable best. And for that reason, for instance, we've got rid of exams at the end of removes and shells So next year, your children will not have exams at the end of the year. They will have a number of fairly rigorous common assessments that they will have through the course of the year, which they will get plenty of support, advice on. But we feel it's really important to nurture students in terms of revision techniques, working out how they learn best. And then by the time they're in thirds, they will be absolutely clued up and knowledgeable about how they revise for those assessments so they can cope really, really well with end-of-year assessments, which then will give them plenty of practice, obviously leading through to their GCSEs in fifth. So Learning to Learn programme. We've also changed the reporting and assessment technique as well to make sure that we identify exactly what it is that students need to know. So rather than just a sort of letter and a number, that's going to get the information that you will receive on grading and monitoring academic progress is going to become more sophisticated and more effective. And that will help us work together to make sure that your sons and daughters are learning as effectively as possible. So really exciting stuff going on in the Learning to Learn programme. Improved careers provision, again in line with careers provision as well. And the future-orientated idea. I've just appointed a brand new head of careers who I know is going to do an absolutely fantastic job, but that's all about preparing students from the beginning of the senior school. There is a careers programme that we have that starts and removes, where students begin to think about their strengths and weaknesses. We don't necessarily say, right, what are you going to be when you leave school? You can be a doctor or an accountant or a lawyer or something else that we don't know about yet. But we do want to sort of eke out where their strengths and weaknesses are and how we can develop them as individuals so we can start to identify possible career paths for them. So that's something very exciting. And Chester Schools Together is something I just wanted to mention. This is a collaborative project between King's and other state schools in Chester, currently Blacon High School, and Bishop's Bluecoat Church of England High School as well. And we set up this year a number of collaborative projects with those schools, which students in removes and shells got involved with this year. And your children will have opportunities to get involved in those collaborative projects as well. It's optional. At the moment, it's Saturday master classes where they all get together and do fun things on a Saturday afternoon. But that is another opportunity because I think it's really important that our students are able to collaborate with other students from other schools. I think that's something that's very important. The final thing I want to say is that we've had fantastic demand for places this year, and therefore we have actually added an extra form to this year group. It's not something that we intend to do every year. It's something that school has done very occasionally in the past. There is no intention to increase numbers overall in the school, but we are fortunate enough to be in a position to do it this year. We have obviously increased all the resources and staffing in sync with that, so there are extra tutors to make sure that we can maintain those small tutor group sizes, and also we have Mr. Boyd coming in as a deputy head of removes to support Mrs. Garay. At which point, I think my bit's over, and I will stroll over in a slightly dramatic fashion to hand over the remote control to Mrs. Garay. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you very much for coming in this evening to find out more about the senior school. I've wanted to say how much I've enjoyed meeting the children over the last few weeks. They seem really excited about joining senior school. Tonight they're getting to know each other and their tutors, and tonight is an opportunity for you too to get to know some key people in the school. You've already met the headmaster, but also here this evening, sitting outside over there, is our deputy head, Dr. Jane Byrne, and our academic deputy head, Mr. James Millard, for any curriculum queries. Our deputy head pastoral, Michael Howell, and my assistant, Mr. Boyd, Michael Boyd, along with our director of learning support, Sarah Glass, are all working with the pupils at the moment. So you won't necessarily see them in here, but they'll be in the tutor rooms later on. You may also have met Mrs. Aldridge in the dining room. She is a geographer and she's our lead on sustainability. She encourages all members of our school community to consider ways in which we can be more eco-friendly, and we are aiming for an eco status as a school as well. My role as head of removes is to support and assist the tutors in their pastoral care for the pupils. I have lots of contact with the removes in this first year, and I get to know them in a variety of different ways. So I don't have a tutor group myself, which means that I can take time to go around all the tutor groups and get to know them. I also teach Latin to half the year group. And I teach enrichment, which is something we do once a fortnight on a Friday afternoon. I do a session in that called Thinking Skills, and I see all the removes in the carousel over the course of the year. I also coach under 12 netball and rounders, so I get to know them pretty well over the course of the year. With the tutors, we have 10 tutors this year, and 9 of them are here this evening. Going from top left and across, Miss Roberts, Mrs Ignata and Mrs Cooper are all mathematicians. Mr Aldridge is head of English. Mr Boyd is also in the English department. Mrs Rule teaches business. Mrs Glass is our Director of Learning Support. Mrs Sumner teaches PE, as well as being Assistant Deputy Head Pastoral. And Mr Bircham and Mrs Rowley-Williams are both modern linguists. Mrs Rowley-Williams is not here tonight. She's currently on maternity leave, but she is coming to Manor Adventure at the end of August, and she'll be back with us full-time in September. They are a really enthusiastic and committed team. I'm very, very lucky to be working with them. It's the case in removes that people really want to be a removes tutor, and all of these 10 really want to be, and it's great that that's the case. Now, we appreciate that this first year in senior school is a really important time for your child, and perhaps the most important person in school for them in this year is their tutor. This is the only teacher that they're going to see twice each day. So your child's tutor is going to be the first port of call, both for you and for your child, if any concerns or queries arise. If they are unavailable, or you feel it's a more serious matter, you can get in touch with Mr Boyd or with me. All contact details for tutors will be sent to you. Miranda and Matthew, that you may have seen as you arrived this evening, are 2 of our current lower 6th pupils, and they've been recently elected as head of removes prefects. They'll be around after this talk to help to guide you to the tutor rooms if you'd like to ask them any questions. They are really impressive young adults, and I'm delighted they want to be working with removes next year. We're all very much looking forward to welcoming the new removes in September. We're so happy that you've decided to entrust this stage of your child's education to King's, and we'll do our absolute best to make sure they have a really positive time. It struck me as I looked through these slides earlier that 15 or so of the colleagues who are officially here this evening, 8 of those are either currently have children in the school or have children who have been through the school and have left and gone on to a university and employment. And in addition, there are 5 more colleagues in the theatre tonight as parents. And I hope that reassures you that your trust in King's is really well placed. We support, teach and advise every child as if they are our own. And perhaps proof that pupils love their school is that one of those colleagues who's here tonight is a former pupil who couldn't wait to come back and teach here. See if you can work out who it is. We're going to be working with the removes to fulfil 3 specific aims during their first year. Trying their best. Now, this doesn't matter what the outcome is. There's a satisfaction in knowing that you've given something your all. It could be work, it could be sport, it could be friendships, it could be anything. But we really want them to give everything their best shot. Trying new things, challenging themselves, trying different activities. Just, any activity that it might not like it, but give it a go and see what it's like. New ways of revising, new ways of working, different ways of organising yourself, all kinds of different things we want them to try. And building relationships. This doesn't just mean maintaining existing friendships, it's about getting to know new people, working with different teachers, working with pupils in different year groups. So those are the 3 things in particular that all removes should be aiming for next year. With this last aim of building relationships particularly in mind, we've ensured that each removed pupil will come into contact with a wide variety of others during their first year here. So we've got 10 tutor groups in the year group, each one consisting of 13 pupils. And these small groups are designed so that the tutor can really get to know them and support the pupils in their transition into seniors. Pupils spend about 35 minutes a day in these groups for registration and for tutor period, which you can see on the timetable here. The tutor periods take place mid-morning rather than first thing, which give us a greater pastoral focus. And we pair 2 tutor groups together for some activities. And we change those pairings regularly as well. So they will come into contact with everybody in the year group during the course of their removes year. For the rest of the school day, the pupils are in entirely different groups. Teaching groups have pupils in them from a wide variety of tutor groups, and not all subjects teach in the same mix of pupils. This will create further opportunities for them to meet others in the year. And of course, at breaks and at lunchtimes, they can socialise with whomsoever they choose. And of course, they can attend clubs and activities with existing friends, as well as new ones, and perhaps even pupils from other year groups. This is likely to be an entirely different system from the one that's currently operating in their junior school, where they may well have been with the same peers in the same group for a few years. Senior school provides them with a much greater opportunity to widen their friendship circle and work with a range of others, as well as to maintain those current friendships. This helps to develop their social skills, allowing them to be comfortable and confident with a variety of people and in different circumstances, all really good preparation for the world outside King's. To help the removes settle in, we've had familiarisation sessions which have been taking place over the last few weeks. I've really enjoyed chatting to them. They are a great bunch. We've talked about the things they're looking forward to, and they shared some of those with you on the video. And they've also been talking to me about things they're nervous about, things like getting lost. They've toured the school. They've asked so many questions. Perhaps highlights have been that they've met the school python, Monty. They've really enjoyed going over into the sports centre and seeing all the new things over there. And in the library, they've been set a reading challenge for the summer. They've also received an information booklet from me, which includes my email address, just in case they've got any burning questions over the summer, or simply they just want to say hello. I have had pupils in the past who've emailed me in July and said, so excited, just got my stripy blazer, and I'm always happy to get those emails. I've been really impressed by them, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know them better in September. This familiarisation process continues with our annual trip to Manor Adventure in Craven Arms, Shropshire, which takes place just before the start of term. We're using our tried and trusted formula of taking the year group away just for 2 days before the start of term, and it's a great opportunity for them to get to know each other before lessons begin. Now, I appreciate that those pupils who don't know anybody in the year might find this a little bit daunting, and there are quite a lot of pupils in the year group who don't know anybody at all. But I hope that the prospect of spending just one night away with strange people will make it a little bit less daunting. When we talked about this in familiarisation sessions, no one seemed concerned about it, and they were telling me all about similar trips they've been on or are going on with their current schools. You've already been emailed details about Manor Adventure, and the deadline for handing those slips in was tonight. I have got some spares if anybody thinks they may have forgotten that, so come and see me afterwards. Now, in order to make this transition smooth for the removes and for you, we've introduced a range of ideas and events. So the first full day for all new pupils is on Wednesday the 4th of September, and it's an induction day, when they'll work with each other, their tutors and other staff in order to prepare for their lessons, which begin the following day. They'll come in uniform for the first time on this day, and it's a great photo opportunity at the school gates for this one. Now, I appreciate that this first day is both exciting and emotional. It's exciting for them and it's emotional for you. And on such days in previous years, I've witnessed nervousness and apprehension, sometimes a bit of doubt, even on one year, tears. But I would ask you to try and hide these feelings from your child. They are far more adaptable than you, and while you're anxiously waiting the finish, they'll be having a really nice time. Removes will be in from 9 till 3:30 on that day, and then there's a session at 3:45 for the pupils and parents about Firefly, the curriculum, and how we're going to be supporting them with their learning. Tutors and I will keep a really close eye on them in those first few days to maintain a reassuring and supportive presence. And tutors will give you a phone call at the end of the first full week just to see how things have gone. You'll then be invited in to in the end of September to meet the tutor again, a little bit more formally this time, at our pastoral parents' evening. And then you'll be invited in again just before October half term for an informal chat over breakfast, hopefully in our new sports hall cafe. Then there'll be grades, reports, parents' evening with subject teachers as the year progresses. For removes, we've introduced a transition programme which is designed to bring about a coherent year group before they become part of the house system that the headmaster talked about. Now, removes can expect up to an hour's homework each night, which follows a regular timetable, but it's something they're going to build up to gradually over the first half term, since we want to help them settle in and get into really good work routines first. They'll have sessions to help them organise their time. We'll look at study skills with them. We look at organising their workspace, and we also look at things like note-taking. So we're preparing them as the year goes through. And we'll also, of course, give them guidance and help with their school email accounts and Firefly, their electronic planner. And that leads me on very nicely to electronic devices. Now, there are 3 in particular that I'd like to talk to you about. First of all, calculators. Now, the maths department here prefer a particular make and model of calculator, and we order them for the pupils and we then issue them in September, unless you've already had one. If you're in our junior school, you may already have one of these, in which case you can opt out, and then it will appear on parent pay for the price of the calculator. The second type of device is that we ask all pupils to bring in a tablet for use in lessons, and they're going to use it to access their electronic planner, Firefly. Information, I think, has already been emailed to you about this as well. Now, all of the pupils I've seen in familiarisation sessions are really excited about having a device in school. Not so much when I mentioned no games, but they're really excited about using it. And they're going to be given further information about it in Induction Day. Now, ideally, we'd like them to use the school Wi-Fi on their devices, since this will ensure that inappropriate websites and many forms of social media are blocked, which will allow the pupils to focus in safety on work tasks. So preferably provide a device which must use the school Wi-Fi rather than have its own access via 4G, or if it does have that capability, it might be a good idea to disable it during school hours. We'd prefer it if games weren't loaded onto the tablets, since it's meant to be a work device and we don't want them gaming in the working day. And we don't want pupils either to have a VPN on their device. You can use parental controls to organise all of that. And we'd also advise you, certainly in the early days, to monitor the amount of time that they're spending on devices at home. 1 hour in the evening is the recommended amount of time for an 11-year-old, for instance, and it shouldn't be the hour immediately before bedtime. They're not going to be on their devices all day in every lesson, so it will be limited in school as well. We also encourage that devices be kept downstairs, out of bedrooms, for charging overnight. And it would be a good idea if you used your iTunes account or similar and don't give them the password, since then all communication will have to come through you. Now, I've spoken to pupils in familiarisation sessions about the third of those, mobile phones. Now, I'm sure that they think I was around with the dinosaurs because I've told them that mobile phones weren't invented when I was their age, and they're surprised that I survived. But I did. Now, your child may well give you 100 reasons why they need a mobile phone in school, and believe me, I've heard them all. If you feel that your child absolutely must have a mobile phone in school, then that's okay, but the phone must be switched off and locked in their locker from the minute they arrive in school in the morning until 10 to 4 when lessons finish. All pupils in school below the 6th form are not allowed to use mobile phones in the school day, and we would prefer it if they weren't in school at all. We want to encourage face-to-face interaction and discourage the use of social media, many of which require the user to be 13 years old, media which can be accessed via 4G phones. As well as that, proxy servers interfere with our school email systems. And the kind of things that are sometimes said on social media, you would never say in person, and it can lead to people feeling excluded or pressured to take part. We'd like to work in partnership with you to monitor, guide and educate the children until they're mature enough to make their own decisions. With plenty of other ways to communicate with your child in school, email, messaging, landlines. We've got landlines in school that you can phone in on as well. Please consider carefully whether your child needs a mobile phone. If you conclude it is, then I would perhaps advise providing a cheap basic one, i.e. not a smartphone, which can only be used for texting and phone calls, since they can cost under £10. And if you put some pay-as-you-go credit on there, it will probably last you most of the year. And I suspect they're pretty undistracting those as well. In fact, one of the new removes did tell me that he had one of those currently, and I thought that was just brilliant. So if you would got to go down that route, that would be a really good thing to do. In familiarisation sessions, we talked about social media. The pupils all knew that many social media platforms require them to be 13. We talked how it's natural to make mistakes as you learn. It's part of growing up, part of learning, and how mistakes with social media can be really serious. So we prefer to avoid social media on their phones in school until they're sufficiently mature enough to deal with it. I know I've gone on about that for quite a long time, and I'm sorry for dwelling on it, but it's a really important issue, and we really would value your support on that. Email is our main method of communication with parents, as you've probably already discovered. Please make sure that we have a main and a secondary email for contacting you, and it should be an email account which you check regularly. The pupils have an electronic planner called Firefly, and there's also a Firefly parent portal which will give you information such as messages, announcements, calendar, fixtures, as well as your child's homework, reports, grades, and you'll be given details of how to access that in September. If you'd like to come in and see us, please do. We're always happy to meet you. It would be best if you telephone or email first to arrange a mutually convenient time. Please try and avoid just dropping in at the start of school, since lots of extracurricular commitments, events and meetings regularly happen before school, and we wouldn't want you to make that trip in vain. A few last piece of information. First of all, clubs and activities, which Headmaster's already mentioned. We have a really extensive list of different clubs and activities. The timings of them don't tend to be finalised until early September, but you'll have an idea of them by looking at the Firefly portal of all the kinds of things that are going on. We've also talked about uniform in our recent familiarisation sessions and discussed how the stripy blazer really makes them feel like part of the school. The school uniform shop is on site, and the information about the opening times and details of it have been emailed, but it's also all on our school website. Now, the shop expands to give much more space from mid-July until late August, and we advise you to go and buy the uniform at that point rather than wait until early September when it reverts back to the small shop again, since queues are much likely to be longer and wait times longer at that point. The representatives you probably saw were in the dining room tonight, so please see them if you want to make an appointment for purchasing a full uniform, since it can take about an hour or so to get all of the equipment, or you can follow the link. There's a link on the website as well that you can make an appointment. Certain items must be purchased from the uniform shop. Could you please ensure that whichever skirt you get for a girl, that it's no more than 5 centimetres above the knee, and allow a little growing room there, because there are a few girls at the moment who've grown a lot since September, and those skirts are starting to edge up. We don't allow pupils to wear any jewellery except one pair of plain stud earrings, one in each earlobe, and a watch. And no one below 4th year is allowed any makeup at all. In terms of other equipment, our school library sells stationery packs at very reasonable prices. It's great in the library. If they've lost one particular item, they can pop in and buy it, or they can buy a whole pack there. And they can be bought in September if you didn't want to buy bits and pieces over the summer. If you're bringing your child into school by car, please check the information about car parking, allocated parent parking. We'd encourage you to use the Wave and Go area where possible for dropping off and collecting. The car park is really, really busy at 4 o'clock, so try picking up a little later, for instance. Your child could use the school library until 5:30. They could get their homework done in the library before they go home. Or if they have an activity, of course, they'll be staying after school anyway. So try and avoid it if you can at 4 o'clock. The children have been absolutely delighted to hear that our dining room offers a breakfast, break and lunch service. They've had lots of questions about what kinds of things they can buy. The food is all prepared fresh every day. If you've got a really early start, for instance, they can come in and buy a full English breakfast for a really small amount of money in the morning, or they can come and get some toast or cereal, and there's then break time food as well, or they can bring their own in. Now, for September, they'll probably be tired in those first few days since there's so much information to take in. So please be prepared for this, but do let us know if you feel that any anxiety is the result of something a bit more than just tiredness. Although senior school signals the start of greater independence for children, it's vital that school and parents work together, and we need to have that partnership to support them. Now, I'm going to show you in a second the list of where you can collect your child from, because it's probably time to go and meet the tutors now. We're going to have some scrolling lists on here, which are organised in alphabetical order of first name. Okay, so if your child is called Thomas, you'll have to wait a while. Now, basically, the room numbers are up the main corridor. It's a bit like a street. So on the left-hand side are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and on the right-hand side are the even numbers. The one exception is room 12, which for some reason is on the left-hand side at the end. And on here, it's down as room 10. So if you're in room 10, it's actually 12, and it's not on the left-hand side. Okay, it's a bit of a test. You needn't wait particularly for the names to scroll if you don't want to. There are also the names written on the boards outside both exits of the Vanbrugh Theatre, and we'll be around if you've got any questions at all. Hope you enjoy meeting your tutors and that your children are having a really lovely time. Thank you.